Hey TV fans, Board now back with you. On this video I'm going to be talking about Agatha all along, the first two episodes of the new Disney Plus Marvel show. Episode 1 is called Seekest From the Road. Episode 2 is called Circle Cell with Fatal They Hidden Gate. Full spoilers from the start of this review as always. So this is the much anticipated spin-off series from WandaVision, which people might remember was the first ever Disney Plus original when the platform launched about 4 years ago now, a bit more. So this is a spin-off to that. It's a limited series. It stars Hahn, so in a bigger role than she had on that role as the title character Agatha. And the twist on it in the first episode anyway, the reason it's got its title is because the character of Agatha, or Agnes as she's known at the start of this episode, is caught in this curse that was given to her by the Scarlet Witch. And as a result, she's been living the last few years as a private detective, as a sleuth. So we see her early on in the episode investigating this case, and it's a case which seems to have links to her past. She's haunted by it. She's a very, in a way, typical deadpan, moody kind of sarky, like private eye. And the whole reveal of it is that secretly she still is the person she's been all along, Agatha all along, and Agatha is a twist on Agatha Christie and also her being known as Agnes, and she corrects someone at one point, says it's Agatha actually. But it's revealed she is still the witch of old and she's just been caught in this spell. And that's revealed by the Aubrey Plaza character who comes to visit her in episode 1 and seems to be set up as her partner, her reluctant partner, because Agnes doesn't want anything to do with her. But they slowly get cracking on the case. They're this odd couple pairing, and the Aubrey Plaza character seems to be there to help her out, but it turns out she is actually her nemesis, and later on it turns out then the murder that they're investigating is linked to the Scarlet Witch. And the reveal, as I said, is that Agatha, Agnes, is caught in this world, and when she comes out of it, it's revealed that she's been stripped of all her powers. So the setup and kind of the mission of the opening 2 episodes and the rest of the series, it might seem, is then she has to get her powers back. She's aided by this sidekick who's like almost like a young apprentice being played by Joe Locke, who has an interest in these things. So that's quite a clever little turn. Then it's actually like the young teenage boy who's like the apprentice to the older woman, because a lot of times that works out the other way around. So that's quite a nice little twist on that. And what they have to do is they want to go down this magical road which will lead to Agnes / Agatha getting her powers back, but they can only do that by working together with other former witches who have also had their powers taken away. And we meet these witches individually and their different lives now, and the only way to achieve what they all want is to get together as a coven, do a particular spell, and they have to go down the road, the magical road, which will eventually unlock their powers. But there's all sorts of dark forces which have been unleashed as a result of them doing the spell. And this isn't really spoiler, because the first 2 episodes are definitely set up for all this. And the very end of episode 1 is that they unlock the road, and it appears like in the basement under the floorboards, and they go down it as they're being pursued by like mythical forces, darker forces. And that's kind of the setup now for the rest of the series. So got 9 episodes, And I know this has been quite anticipated, and I do like Catherine Hahn a lot. This does seem like an ideal role for her. As I said, very deadpan, very sarky, very witty, can do a little bit of the dramatic stuff as well. And when I saw Aubrey Plaza was involved as well, I was like, okay, I'm so into this one. They're a great combination on screen. And I do think, because the first episode was a bit slow, I definitely preferred episode 2. But the best stuff in episode 1 was the Aubrey Plaza and Catherine Hahn stuff. Like, they just had great chemistry together as this mismatched pairing. And Aubrey Plaza does play these characters very well, where like she seems to be an everyday sort of person. She seems to be on the side of good, but there's just this darkness lurking behind her. And I think Aubrey Plaza plays villains like surprisingly well. There is a real menace to her. So when that stuff comes out at the end of episode 1, I thought that was very entertaining. I thought she played it very well. I was enjoying the vibe between them throughout the episode. What's funny about Catherine Hahn's character is I definitely wasn't enjoying her as much as the private investigator as I was when it's revealed who she is, which we all know because of what the show is. But like when she came out of that and got to play like this witch without her powers and now going on this quest, like she was just having a lot more fun with the character. Like she was just much more like mischievous and like just a lot of like witty sort of banter and playing with things, and like she does do comedy very well, and she has this natural sort of energy and charisma to her, and it's just very good at putting like great full stops on the end of lines. And I mean at the very end like of episode 2, like that delivery of the line of "I never doubted us for a minute," as they finally reveal that the road has been opened and they must escape down it, because at first the spell didn't seem to be working. And that is a fun set piece. There's not actually that many set pieces in the opening 2 episodes, I guess because it is a setup for the rest of the series. But them doing that song and like coming together and trying to open up this road, it is a fun little moment. But yeah, just her little deadpan reaction to things and delivery of lines and bouncing off these other riches, and also with this sidekick played by Joe Locke, that's all pretty good fun. You know, I like the scene when they're in the car in episode 2 where like she's giving him like notes to take down, and she's like, okay, and he's like, okay, there's a pen in the dashboard, and she gets it and like throws it out the window, and then she offers to put it in his phone. It's like, oh no, that's all right, I'll jot it all down later, I'll remember it. So there's some fun moments like that. But yeah, when she was playing like the private eye detective, there was just something a bit over the top about the character, and it was kind of running through these beats and you get with these like downtrodden private eyes. Even for females, it feels like this has been done quite a lot. And unless you can do something really special with it like they did in Mayor of Easttown, then it's probably going to feel like a bit of a tired cliche. And in the end, because it's only setting things up, it's like it's not a massive deal, but there were a couple of lines that were a bit over the top with her, and like I just wasn't enjoying the character as much as I was hoping to, and she definitely excels much more as like the witch character and bouncing off the other characters, and she just has this sort of cheeky sort of presence, but there's also a fire to her that I really enjoyed. And I definitely much preferred, I mean, episode 1 was solid, there was nothing wrong with it. The humour was lacking a bit in episode 1, like I just, because it is quite a comedic show, and I think the humour was very up and down. There was some good lines, but I feel it got more into its groove in episode 2, definitely. because them meeting up with these individual witches and seeing what they're doing was a lot of fun, because each witch had a different sort of flavour to them. And I think the one I most enjoyed was the one in the store who they visit, who they try to convince to come out and help them because she's under threat of legal action. And I like this from the Joe Locke character, because he's looked her up on Instagram and he's seen about her being sued. And I like Agatha's line about historically our kind don't do very well in the courts, making reference to Salem and all that. So that was good stuff. And that's another thing I enjoyed, is like the nods to classic witches on screen. It's almost like it's not trying to be just another witch's sort of tale. It's almost like saying, okay, it exists alongside these other witches on screen. And you sort of get tributes to that in the end credits, because you get like an images of the craft, you get images of Lisa Simpson as a witch, and different kind of witches. And there's definitely quite a lot of meta stuff going on, as you expect maybe from Disney Plus and Marvel shows nowadays. As I said, some of the humour is a bit up and down, but there are some good lines, and I think there's good chemistry so far between the cast. They have cast it quite well. You know, seeing Deborah Rupp is always fantastic. She's a great presence. She's one of the witches, has this kind of bumbling, awkward sort of charm about her. So the casting probably is the strong point. I hope to see more of Aubrey Plaza. I'm assuming she's going to make another appearance at least. We also have Emma Crawford in like a small role, because of course she was in WandaVision. We see her in a brief scene. Hopefully might see a little bit more of her. She's working in the library. But yeah, when it got to this road trip stuff, and they were going through and visiting all the different witches and trying to convince them to come along on this trip and actually get the covenant together, because hey, this is the only way we can all get our powers back. That stuff was pretty solid. I quite enjoyed that. I quite enjoyed the variety of those like little skits. And so far it's been quite grounded. Again, maybe because it is like set up episodes and we haven't had too many like CGI fantastical moments. And I'm hoping with this being a Marvel show, they might tone those down anyway, because sometimes they can be too jarring, and they can be... the CGI isn't always the best. So sometimes in these Marvel shows, they're solid up to a point, but those can be the things that like drag them down, and you can have a bit of a disappointing ending or whatever. But so far I'd say solid enough. It's not setting my world on fire, but I'm enjoying the performances, and there's definitely some enjoyable lines of dialogue, and the premise is like decent enough. And I guess we'll just have to see like how much they're going to pull from like the Marvel universe and from the previous show, because of the link to it. But a solid enough start. And as I said, episode 2 I thought was the strongest of the two. So that's Agatha all along. My thoughts on the first 2 episodes that are up on Disney Plus now. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Share me out on social media. You can also support me by making a donation on a super chat, which is in the description to this video. And you can also support me on patreon.com/borednow for just $1 a month. A bunch of bonuses and extras on there. And also this week I'm going to be checking out episode 1 of the new Penguin series, starring Colin Farrell, so sort of a spin-off from the recent Batman movie. So look out for my review of that coming up, and much more. But keep watching TV, guys, and I'll see you soon.